Dear Edit, last night, I finally went on a date with this guy who's been asking me out for the past couple of months. He took me to a weight loss seminar. What's your WTF is this moment in your dating history? Went out with a girl for a first date. She took me to a Kumdo lesson, which is a Korean sword fighting sport. I thought that was cool, but it was an advanced class and I made somewhat of a fool of myself, but all in good fun. Anyway, it turned out that she was bringing me there because she wanted me to be part of a documentary about foreigners in Korea. So my looking like a fool was broadcast nationwide. We then visited the Grandmaster's house for Machiavelli and the film crew started interviewing me. They were basically focusing on my relationship with the girl I was going out with. They didn't seem to understand it was a first date. So here I am trying to answer awkward questions without embarrassing both of us on national television. There's bad dates. Then there's nationally televised bad dates. There was a guy who had been asking me to hang out for a while and I finally said yes. He wanted to hang out at his house with his roommate, so I went. He took me into the basement where there was a dirty mattress on the floor and nothing else. I ran. To this day I have no idea what it was about, but I ran and never told anyone about it until now. Finally someone with common sense. Your brain says run and you did. Good for you. When I was a teenager I worked at a retail store in the mall and a guy who worked a few stores down would always come in and talk to me. He was super sweet and genuine and would randomly take me to lunch, bring me coffee and the like. It was nice to just have someone to talk to and who seemed genuinely interested in me and what I had to say. He asked me on a date a few times and I always declined. I don't like the idea of dating someone who I work next to, just in case it goes sour. After a month or two I finally agreed to go on a date with him. Because good guys are hard to find, I couldn't just let him pass by. He picks me up at my house and on our way to dinner we get into a car accident. The driver's side was T-boned pretty badly and we ended up having to go to the hospital where he contacted his roommate, who then contacted my date's girlfriend. I must know what happened when his girlfriend found out he got in a car accident taking another woman out on a date. She showed me pictures of her ex's dong, before and after she photoshopped a little cowboy hat and sheriff's badge on it. That's hilarious. After my freshman year of college I met a guy on OkCupid and we went to get dinner at Fridays as our first date. Offered to give me a ride, but I said no. He was a couple years older, well dressed and started talking about how he'd started his own business after college and it was going well. Good for him. Bragging a bit, but hey, that's an accomplishment. So after we order he says let's play a game. We'll each take out our wallets and compare what's in them. Wasn't a joke. Literally started showing me his credit cards and bragging about the high limits. Ending with clearly you can't afford to pay for this dinner, but don't worry I can cover you. I was pissed and protested but he wouldn't take no for an answer. So as we leave he says he wants to show me his car. Unfortunately it was before mine in the lot so I had to walk by it. It was a white, windowless serial killer van. He begged me to frick him in it, right there in the Fridays parking lot. I was pretty glad I drove separately. Hopefully I won't need to do dating again ever, but if I do, your story has made me decide that if I do I will take my own transport. I went on a date with a guy that I met online. He told me to dress nice and that he was going to take me out for dinner. He took me to Subway, ordered a foot-long teriyaki chicken sub. He looked at me and said, "I hope you like teriyaki chicken." We shared the sub in his car. Safe to say there was no second date. It's stories like this that make me feel like the guy in this scenario is doing a dare that his friends bet him he wouldn't do. Hey Tom, bet you won't take a chick out on a first date to Subway, buy one sub for yourself, and share it in your car with her awkwardly. Bet I will. Went to pick a girl up at her house after meeting on a dating website. She seemed significantly larger than her photo, but only in the lower abdominal region. This is when I realized that she had failed to mention that she was pregnant. I took a girl out on a first date to see Sucker Punch. I didn't get a second date. Guy I worked with kept asking me out. I continuously said no. After about a year, I started to feel bad for the guy and said yes to a date. He asked me to lunch so I figured it could be a quick easy date. He picked me and took me to Wendy's, where he made me order off the dollar menu, and I could only get 2 things. After this very quiet lunch where he hunkered over his chicken nuggets like I would steal them, he said he needed to stop at Walmart. We go in and he heads to the lotion section. Strange, but what ifs. He then grabs 2 scented lotions and asks which one I like better. Being nice, I pick one, and he responds with, "Great, I'll use this for your massage." Oh, luckily I had to work in 2 hours and told him the massage would have to wait. I spent the next 3 months trying to avoid him until he quit. I remember a hot little gal in college who agreed to go out with me. She said she had a surprise for me. Christian revival meeting. I was on the bus once watching a conversation like this take place and it ended with, "Dude who was unlikely to get laid, yeah alright. Who else is going? Hot Christian girl. Well, Jesus will be there." Setting. Blind date at a sushi restaurant. I was 24. He was 19. We already had nothing to talk about, so I told him this story. I had gone to the local game stop for the sole reason to talk to the guy behind the counter. I got in line, had some small talk, and as I was getting my receipt, I asked him, "Hey, are you seeing anyone?" His reply, "Me, I'm gay." I was mortified that my gaydar failed me, so I just gave him a high five and left. I was still shocked and cried in my car. About 5 minutes after I finished that story, I look over to the 8-person group beside us. I caught the eye of the very same gay guy I hit on at the stop. We waved to each other. He was with his boyfriend. Whoa. At least you know he was actually gay and not using that as an excuse to turn you down. I met this cute girl in college. I asked her out a couple times. She was really into me. Numerous occasions we sat in a coffee shop for 6, 7, 8 hours talking the night away, but couldn't do anything about it as she was seeing someone else. Okay, fair enough. I'm a little persistent. We hang out on and off. 6 months later, after she and her significant other break up, or so I was told, we start seeing each other. Fast forward 8 months and she's at my place 6-7 days a week. Has taken over half my condo with her stuff. We commute to work together. I'm having supper with her parents. Always hanging out with her sisters and their boyfriends. She's always over at my parents'. Things are going really well. I was crazy about her. Part of the family and all that good stuff. About a week before Christmas she sits me down and basically says that she never really broke up with her boyfriend. He was just out west. He was coming home and we were over. She was just seeing me on the side and quite frankly didn't understand why I wasn't seeing someone else at the same time. Seeing how we weren't all that serious. Excuse me, what? I had a guy take me to a beer and Christ thing. He was uber Catholic and thought I could benefit from letting Christ into my cold Jewish heart. So I go. I'm open-minded. I'm only half Jewish and have always been interested in other religions. It was going okay until the priest, the speaker of the night, told us a hypothetical tale of our brother who is paralyzed. We have the ability to cure him with stem cells. He will walk as soon as the transaction is complete. How many of you here would purchase these stem cells and allow your brother to walk again? My hand shoots up. I look around the room. Nothing. No hands. I then notice everybody staring at me, including my date and the priest. I was blessed out like nobody's business and was told I was an embarrassment to my date. Good times. Not sure how long ago this was for you. If it was recently, you could have pointed out to everyone there that stem cell research and treatment no longer requires the use of fetal stem cells, and in fact, can be done with stem cells from an adult. Then ask the priest and everyone present who wouldn't donate their own stem cells to save their brother. Science is pretty awesome. After I made him dinner, did the dishes, and we had amazing sexy time, he rolled over mid-cuddles to tell me all about his ex-girlfriend, how I had no desirable girlfriend-esque traits, and that the only reason he liked me was because I liked him. I boosted his confidence. This was after a month of seeing each other. Be glad that he told you this a month in. I found this out from an ex years after the relationship when we were having a conversation. We remained friends. I just liked you because you were so into me. Jesus. When I was young and stupid, I dated a guy with a temper. He would get mad about something stupid like saying goodbye too quickly on the phone, pick a fight and we'd break up. He would call a day or two later and we would make up. After a few months I had figured out the cycle and I was fed up. So, when he picked a fight as usual I ended it and then didn't take him back. While we were dating I had become close with his sisters and his mom loved me. We had scheduled a girls lunch and his sister begged me to go. I finally said yes and went. Everything was fine and I had a great time. The whole lunch was probably 2 hours long. At the end I walked to their car with them and the mom grabbed me and said, "Hear him." Out of the car comes her son, WTF, who was trying to explain to me why we should be together. I just walked past him to my car as he ran after me. He ended up picking a fight with me because it was my fault we broke up and I didn't even call him so he could fix it. Then he threw rocks at my car as I drove away. I wish I had a picture of what my face looked like when he came out of that car. I never spoke to him again and never accepted another invitation from his family. Sounds like his family didn't realize how crazy he was. He probably treated his mom and sisters as badly as he treated you. I met a guy online who seemed really nice. We exchanged a few emails and got along well enough, so we decided to meet up for a matinee. We exchanged pics so that we could at each other at the theater where we were meeting. I show up, expecting to see the heavy-set dude around my age because that's what his profile and pic said. Instead, he was about 20 years older and 100 pounds heavier than his picture. I am a fairly open-minded person when it comes to dating, and I know that many folks embellish, but come on. We watched our movie in silence and politely parted ways. I thought you were meeting up for a manatee and was like, whoa, what a cool date. There's been a few, but the absolute worst was the woman who turned up to the pub with literally no money, expecting me to buy her drinks and dinner. I wouldn't have minded if she'd have told me beforehand, but this was completely out of the blue. So anyway, we sat there making awkward conversation. Or at least I tried to start a conversation. Told her about my life. Asked her questions. She was too busy texting and phoning her friends to really take notice. So eventually we did get talking. And then out of nowhere, she told me that she killed her dog. Not accidentally either. I just upped and left and avoided all contact. That was 2 years ago. Jenny, how do I get out of this lol? Tell him you killed her dog lol. I met a local dude on OkCupid and we decided to meet up one night to hang out. He took his dog out in my car because he thought we would frick. Not okay, sir. Not okay. So I went on a couple dates with this girl and she was giving me some signs that she was ready to get a little physical. So I lean in close and try to kiss her, and she turns her face away from me. Stunned, I end up going home and thinking it was over between us. Later on, she contacts me and starts hinting we should go out again. I decide to go for it. Again, after getting some heavy hints, and she pushes me away. So now I just ask, what's going on? She says, I am on dates with you so I don't feel like I'm undesirable, but I'm not attracted to you. She called me the next day and I told her I'm not dating people who make me feel undesirable, then hang up. You may have just solved one of the biggest mysteries of my life. I am going to assume I was once in the same situation as you. In college, this guy from one of my classes asked me to go out with him out of the blue. We'd never even talked before, but he was pretty cute so I said sure. We exchanged numbers and he said he'd call me with details. He called the next day and told me we were going to a restaurant that was way out of my price range. We're talking like no way will this bill will be under $100. I tried talking him out of it, and when that didn't work, flat out saying I couldn't afford something like that, but he insists and tells me not to worry. This all really should have been a clue to me. So I say fine and agree to go. We get to the restaurant and the waiter comes over and I go to order the cheapest thing on the menu when he stops me and says ignore her. We're both having the steak, but I don't like steak. She's just saying that because she's poor. We'll have steak, and shoos the waiter away. I'm mortified and pee and want to leave, but he was my ride. He tries to make conversation and just proves to me that he really is an ass. Then he says he has to go to the bathroom and leaves. I'm sitting there for a good 10 minutes. Before he texts me, hahaha, I got the shoots from drinking last night, don't eat without me. That was the last straw. I called the waiter over, pay for my meal, and go to the Starbucks down the street to call my friend to pick me up. TL. Dr. Guy was trying to impress me and was the world's biggest ass. WTF. The guy sounds like he's 12. First date and he took me to a strip club. A girl I had just met asked me out. She wanted to take me to dinner. We end up at this little Italian place. She says she knows someone that works there. When our waiter arrives, He appears visibly shaken, stuttering. She introduces me to him. This is her friend she mentioned before. I can see it right away. This guy has a thing for her, and here she is introducing him to her date. She then bugs him for special orders and asks if we can get our meals free. He really seems upset, but gives her the anything for you look and agrees. I decline and pay for my own meal. I felt really bad for this guy. I could just see his torment at watching this girl date someone else. She was very attractive and very friendly. I assumed he just got friend-zoned. I hung out with her a few more times, but backed off of the romantic part. Then I found out that the guy from the restaurant was her ex-boyfriend, who she had just dumped a few days before and had been dating since high school. This was 2-3 years after I graduated. TLDR. Girl tried to get her recent ex-BF to serve me free food. I was already cringing before I got to the bit about being an ex-boyfriend. My god, that's just... You have been visited by the beach doggo. You shall be blessed with good weather all summer if you subscribe to Updoot Reddit. I upload new Reddit videos every day. Until then, check another one. Or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.